So it's 4. Now we start the webinar. I welcome all of you for today's webinar on cancer screening prevention and management in women. Our speakers are Dr. Preeti Jindal, Dr. Smitu Sehdev, Dr. Isha, and Dr. Jasprit Kaur. And our moderator is Ms. Ishika Gupta. I invite our moderator, Ishika Gupta, to start the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's truly a pleasure being part of this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Preeti and the Touch Clinic team for inviting me to be a moderator for this session. Today's topic is cancer screening prevention and management in women. I am a founder and CEO of IOTA Analytics. So I'll start with that.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you please share your screen first?
Yes. So I'll quickly walk you through what we do at IOTA Analytics. We are in the field of providing and preparing training data sets for companies that are building artificial intelligence solutions. So what I thought today was that I would bring to you guys, what are the use cases? How is AI working in the healthcare industry? Because I thought that would be relevant to the topics that we're covering today. So to start with, what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence is nothing but it refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. So it's a field of computer science, which is making machines become more and more like humans and mimic their actions. So it makes it possible for machines to learn from past experience, adjust to new inputs, and perform human-like tasks. It basically involves using computers to do things that traditionally required human intelligence. So we create algorithms to classify, analyze, and draw predictions from data. It also involves acting on data, learning from new data, and improving over time. So a lot of it is to do with machine learning from past experiences and ingesting a large amount of data into the machine so that they can see the different predictions over a period of time and learn from them. Some everyday examples of AI around us are Amazon Alexa, which a lot of us have at home now, Siri on iPhones. Even Facebook's facial recognition to tag pictures is a form of artificial intelligence. Self-driving cars, which is becoming a reality. Artificial intelligence, it includes the fields of machine learning, natural language processing, and robotics, and can be applied to almost any field in medicine. And its potential contributions to biomedical research, medical education, and delivery of healthcare seem limitless. So the backbone of being successful in artificial intelligence is the data, because without the right data, it's garbage in, garbage out. So and data is often neglected in this whole value chain. So what we do at IOTA is we help our clients get ready to deploy their AI models by creating and annotating reliable training data by leveraging its unique blend of human and machine intelligence. So we basically help prepare this training data. The data is large sets of data sets. They need to be cleansed. They need to be prepared in the right formats. They need to be annotated. Various kind of labelings and indexing and annotations that are required to be done on the data so that it becomes meaningful for the machines to input them as input data sets and then learn from them. So within the healthcare industry, there are several different use cases that artificial intelligence is seeing increasingly as we are moving along. These are just some examples of the different use cases that we see within the healthcare industry today. I'll walk you through quickly through some of these use cases. If you see electronic health records, electronic health records, this is not a requirement in the Indian healthcare system, but in the American healthcare system, this is actually required by law that every patient there's an electronic health record that is maintained for every patient, for every doctor-patient interaction. So this whole interaction is now getting automated through various different, artificial intelligence processes so that the entire documentation process becomes automated between the patient and the doctor interaction. Computer vision, This enables machines to recognize images and videos by human annotated data. Data analytics is a huge area which provides insights into patient data, clinical data, etc. It reduces costs, better utilization of resources, manage population health. That's a huge topic in here as well. Research and development. So new drug discovery, clinical trials, gene analysis. These are some use cases. Speech to text, which is basically automatic speech recognition. You improve patient interactions and care, providing them with a seamless experience. Medical imaging, this is used to diagnose health conditions with greater accuracy. Virtual assistants and chatbots, you can improve patient care by training virtual assistants and chatbots and providing first level care plan. Robotic surgery and care, increased accuracy and efficiency in conducting complex surgeries. Some of the uses of AI in healthcare, if you just go into detail for each one of those, one, of course, big use for AI is better patient care. So what does that mean, right? A patient care right from the beginning of when you come into a clinic to get a diagnosis done. So because of AI, with the use of AI, with the help of AI, there can be more comprehensive approach for disease management, better care plans can be made, and they help patients to better manage and comply with their long-term treatment programs. Like I mentioned, for electronic health records, machine learning, automated speech recognition, and natural language processing, these are some of the AI tools that are being used to automatically create patient health charts. Virtual assistants and chatbots, so we can enter our symptoms, for example, and based on these symptoms, a machine learning algorithm is processed, and they can provide you the first care plan for patients. Robots have the potential to revolutionize end of life care. As medicine is improving, our life expectancy is increasing. So the kind of issues that we are now facing towards the end of life include more of things like Alzheimer's. They're more lifestyle management diseases, and robots can really help at that stage to make people remain independent for longer, reducing the need for hospitalization and care. So they can really fill in that gap at that stage. And these are just some examples. There are many more that you can provide in terms of patient care itself. The next I would like to discuss is early detection and diagnosis. So what happens is you can use medical imaging and computer vision to look at various images, and then detect the disease based on machine learning. Again, you can process those images to see the diagnosis, or whether it's tuberculosis, whether the patch that you're seeing within the lung, what stage of tuberculosis it's at. For example, according to the American Cancer Society, a high proportion of mammograms yield false results, which leads to 1 in 2 healthy women being told that they have cancer while they're actually healthy. So AI enables review and translation of mammograms 30 times faster with 99% accuracy, reducing the need for unnecessary biopsies. This is just one example of how medical imaging can be used. Through medical imaging and through computer vision, better monitoring and detection of potentially life-threatening episodes at an earlier and more treatable stages can take place. IBM's Watson program, which is a huge artificial intelligence program for health, is helping healthcare organizations apply cognitive technology to unlock vast amounts of health data and provide that care within the industry. Data analytics it's huge. There are various kinds of analytics that you can provide, that you can perform, right? There's diagnostic analytics, there's predictive analytics, there's prescriptive analytics, there's descriptive analytics. These are all the various kinds of analytics that you can perform. Nowadays, data is being created every second as we go along, based on all the sensor-based devices that we have. Everyone must have heard about Fitbits. We wear all these wearable devices. Data is getting generated every second. So there's huge amount of big data available there that can be analyzed in order to make appropriate and timely decisions. Predictive analytics can support clinical decision making and actions. Predictive analytics is nothing but looking at trends in historical data and then predicting what can happen in the future. Pattern recognition can be used to identify patients at risk of developing a certain condition. So you can identify patterns and recognize them over a period of time. And all of this is being taught to the computers through machine learning algorithms. Research and development is another area where AI plays a huge role. And now today with COVID being around us in such a big way, we understand how important research and development is. It takes at an average 12 years for a drug to travel from a lab to patients. And 1 out of 5,000 drugs that even begin preclinical testing are approved for human usage. It costs approximately $500 million to develop a new drug for any company. So using AI in drug research and discovery can significantly reduce cost and time to market. So these are various uses of AI in healthcare, but we also have to be very cautious and keep certain things in mind before we just believe in everything we see and jump straight into it. One very important factor, because we're talking about healthcare, is regulatory framework. So bodies like FDA, they play a huge role in defining the regulatory framework of how AI will get implemented in healthcare. Governments across various countries, they play a big role in defining how these regulatory frameworks will work. Patient security and privacy is one huge topic because there's an element of ethics involved in here. It's patients' privacy, the data that we use, patients' identification. It's very important to protect that. It's very important to get mutual consent from the patient if you're using an AI device to do any of the treatments. And last but not the least, nowhere is AI claiming to replace the physicians. We all understand it is extremely important. The physicians today are playing a huge role. Empathy, care, the intuitive sense that a physician brings to the table, and AI can never replace that. The whole job of an AI is to really enable and support the physicians to do their job in a much more efficient and a more accurate manner, so that we can take healthcare to every corner of the world in an affordable price point. So that's all from my side. I hope that you guys found this informative. I wasn't sure if this topic would be of interest or not, but I hope that you found it a little interesting, and it's the way forward for sure. So thank you for giving me this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the information, ma'am. It's related to the healthcare, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Smithu, ma'am, to talk about the management. Hello. So I request Dr. Smithu, ma'am, to start the session, ma'am.
Thank you, Anjal. Good afternoon, everyone. And Ishika, it was a very wonderful presentation. You explained AI in healthcare in a very wonderful way. It was a very elaborate, beautiful presentation. So coming to my topic, I will be talking about breast and endometrial cancer, its prevention and management. Next slide. नहीं हो रही. Now, what is cancer? Any cell which multiplies very fast. These are abnormal cells, and they start competing with the normal cells. They cannot function normally these cancerous cells, and they can grow anywhere. So just broadly speaking, these are the cancer cells. Now, of all the female cancers, the incidence of breast cancer is 41%. So this is the most common cancer in the world. We are aware, like Sonali Bendre, she had metastatic cancers. So these celebrities, they are also not resistant to these diseases. And then we are aware of Tahira Kashyap. She had breast cancer and she had been managed successfully. Tahira Kashyap is Ayushman Khurrana's wife. So breast cancer is an emerging epidemic. वैसे इंडिया में cervical cancer is the most commonest cancer, but breast cancer is also emerging as an epidemic in India. So how can we prevent it? Early stage diagnosis is the answer. So 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, and in India, around 60% of these breast cancers are detected at an advanced stage. Advanced stage में जब बहुत ज़्यादा हम पेशेंट को हेल्प नहीं कर सकते, अगर इनिशियल स्टेजेस पे ही ये कैंसर्स की डेवलपमेंट का डिटेक्शन होती है, then it can be 100% curative. So it's very essential that these cancers are detected at an early stage. And ये early stage पे detection कैसे possible है? अगर उसकी हम screening करें. So now coming to the cause, what is the etiology of breast cancer? First is family history. अगर आपकी genetic predisposition है for this breast cancer, so you are more prone, you are more likely to have this breast cancer. Then early menstruation. कई girls की menstrual cycles 12 years से पहले शुरू हो जाती हैं और उनके कुछ ladies की menopause बहुत late होती है, even after 55 years. So the time of exposure to estrogen hormone is prolonged, and that can be a cause of breast cancer development. Then the second thing is obesity, weight gain. अगर आपका normal से ज़्यादा weight है, even that is a hyperestrogenic state, and that even can cause that can cause breast cancer. Then prolonged use of oral contraceptives. Oral contraceptives में भी estrogen, progesterone जो hormones होते हैं, female hormones होते हैं, and prolonged use of these hormones can be a predisposing factor for the development of breast cancer. Then comes hormone replacement therapy in postmenopausal women. Initially, in postmenopausal women, to prevent the menopausal symptoms like hot flushes, या जो भी fatigue, इन symptoms को prevent करने के लिए estrogen, progesterone से hormone replacement therapy दी जाती थी. But now it has been stopped because it has been seen that this can lead to breast cancer. And even alcohol intake and tobacco is a cause of breast cancer. Now, अब कैसे पता चलेगा कि what are the warning signs of breast cancer? कैसे पता चलेगा कि breast cancer बनना शुरू हो रहा है? If you see a lump in the breast or armpit, कोई लंप जैसी फीलिंग होती है कि या तो आपके एक्जिला में, आर्मपिट में वो फील है, या ब्रेस्ट में कहीं भी, any of the quadrants of the breast में, so that can be a warning sign. Second thing is nipple discharge. अगर nipples को press करने से अगर कोई भी fluid like thing, it can be either blood stain or even greenish discharge, that is again suspicious of that can lead to breast cancer. Then changes in the breast appearance, like if you're standing in front of the mirror and you see some changes in the breast appearance, like एक breast बहुत abnormally बड़ा है या छोटा है as compared to the other breast, or is there is some puckering, or the nipples are inverted. Any change in the breast appearance is a warning sign of development of breast cancer. Then itching on the breasts. If there is pain in the breast or chest area, or the nipples have become hypersensitive, और अगर आपके breasts reddish हो गए हैं या swollen है, these are all warning signs for development of breast cancer, and you should be highly vigilant of these signs. Now, these are the stages of breast cancer starting from 0 to 4. Initial stages हैं 0, 1, 2 जो कि जब ही कैंसर लोकलाइज्ड है ब्रेस्ट में, बट बाय द स्टेज 4 वो ब्रेस्ट से स्प्रेड होके डिस्टेंट साइट्स पे जा चुका है. सो द ब्रेस्ट कैंसर सर्वाइवल रेट्स स्टेज 0 एंड स्टेज 1 की 100% है, क्योंकि जैसे ही हमको इनिशियल स्टेजेस में इसकी डेवलपमेंट का पता चलता है, वी डू समथिंग क्यूरेटिव. जैसे अगर कोई लंप है तो हम लंपेक्टमी करते हैं, या अगर ब्रेस्ट का एरिया पूरा ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व है तो पूरा का पूरा ब्रेस्ट रिमूव कर दिया जाता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड मेस्टेक्टमी. बट अगर हमारा स्टेज 4 तक कैंसर स्प्रेड कर चुका है, देन the survival rates are just 22% because उसमें खाली breast नहीं है, the other organs are also involved. Now, what are the methods of diagnosis? How to diagnose breast cancer? First is breast examination, second mammography, breast ultrasound, breast MRI, and biopsy. Breast examination, we can do it either clinical breast examination or self breast examination can be done. In clinical breast examination, a registered medical practitioner does it, and after age 40, everyone should have a breast examination done every year. And in women in their 20s and 30s, it can be done every 3 years. Now, what is self-breast examination? This is very important, and it should one should start the self-examination of the breast at the age of 20. 20 साल की उम्र से आपने अपनी breast की self-examination करनी शुरू करनी है, and which is the best time to perform it? It is 1 week after the starting of your menstrual cycle. अगर आपके जो day 1 जिस दिन menses शुरू होते हैं, that is the day 1 of the cycle. तो जिस दिन day 6 या 7 हो, मतलब अराउंड 1 week आफ्टर स्टार्टिंग ऑफ योर मेंसेस, आपने तब ये ब्रेस्ट सेल्फ एग्जामिनेशन परफॉर्म करनी है. और अगर किसी लेडी के इरेगुलर पीरियड्स हैं, या तो बहुत प्रोलॉन्ग्ड आते हैं, बहुत उनका लंबा साइकिल है 40 डेज का या 60 डेज का, तो उनके इन केसेस में एक पर्टिकुलर डे फिक्स कर लो, जैसे 20th ऑफ ईच मंथ, तो हमने उस डेट पे self breast examination करनी है. Now, how to do it? This is done using the fingertips, and just use some shower gel, and you should stand in front of the mirror, and अपने arms पहले तो अपने side पे रखो, फिर ऊपर रखो, and then on the hips. And in all these 3 positions, you have to see the breast की appearance में कोई change तो नहीं है, कोई puckering या कोई inversion तो नहीं आपको दिख रही है when you are changing the position of your arms. Then you stand and press your fingers on your breast, and in a circular motion, circular direction में आपने around the nipple आपने पूरा move करना है, and the whole of the breast area has to be covered. And यही step हमने लेट के भी करना है. Then squeeze your nipples and check for any discharge. Then the other method is mammography. Mammography, basically it's the X-ray of the breast, and it is performed by a technologist in which the breast is pressed in between 2 plates to flatten and spread the tissue. 2 plates के बीच में आपके breast के tissue को flatten करके, and then the X-ray is taken. The pressure, it lasts only for a few seconds, but the whole process, it takes about 20 minutes. So this should be done every 2 years. So this is a normal mammogram. अंदर हम देख सकते हैं कि इसका breast का architecture बिल्कुल normal है. This is a benign cyst. This part, it is not cancerous, And this is a mammogram showing cancerous changes. So this is how we identify any changes in the breast using mammogram. Now coming to breast ultrasound. जैसे मैमोग्राम में हम एक्सरेज को यूज करते थे, तो अल्ट्रासाउंड में वी यूज साउंड वेव्स टू आउटलाइन अ पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी, एंड हियर वी आर टॉकिंग ऑफ ब्रेस्ट. ब्रेस्ट अल्ट्रासाउंड हम तब करते हैं जब देयर इज सम सस्पिशियस एरिया फाउंड in the mammography, and then this breast ultrasound is done to confirm the findings. Then again, more advanced technique is magnetic resonance imaging, जिसे MRI कहते हैं, और इसमें magnetic and radio waves को use किया जाता है. And again, अगर मैमोग्राम में कोई area of concern दिखता है, then we use this technique. And the last is the biopsy. जब in previous tests में पता चल गया है कि you might have breast cancer, तब उस मास के सेल्स को स्टडी करने के लिए बायोप्सी ली जाती है, एंड टू सी द स्टेजिंग एंड ऑल, एंड टू कंफर्म द डायग्नोसिस. नाउ व्हाट आर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शंस? अब देयर आर 4 मेन ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शंस. द फर्स्ट इज सर्जरी. सर्जरी आपकी एक्सटेंट की सर्जरी करनी है, इट विल डिपेंड अपॉन द स्टेजिंग ऑफ योर कैंसर. If it is just stage 1 cancer, जिसमें एक छोटा सा lump है, so you will do lumpectomy in which the entire primary tumor is removed along with the margins. But if at all this cancer has spread to other sites, then you will require more invasive, more extensive surgery, and it can be either modified radical mastectomy or radical mastectomy. The other modality is radiation therapy and hormonal therapy. Hormonal therapy like tamoxifen, ये दी जाती है because we know that estrogen hormone it encourages the cancer cells to grow. और अगर हम इस estrogen को ही block कर दें, then these cancer cells will not grow. So hormonal treatment is basically to block the mechanism by which the hormone estrogen it encourages the cancer cells to grow. Then coming to chemotherapy. Chemotherapy, it is basically used. It's basically given to reduce the size of the tumor before surgery, or post-operative it can be given to remove the residual cancer cells, or it can be given for better and longer survival. Now, coming to the prevention of breast cancer. American Society of Breast Cancer कुछ tips बताती है how can we prevent breast cancer. Low alcohol consumption. इंडिया में तो वैसे भी फीमेल्स कम ही अल्कोहल लेती हैं, बट स्टिल वो स्पेसिफाई करते हैं कि अल्कोहल की इंटेक कम होनी चाहिए. सेकंड, ओवरवेट. अपने बॉडी मास इंडेक्स को नॉर्मल रेंज में रखना है, बिकॉज इंक्रीज्ड वेट इज it increases estrogen hormone, and we know like more the estrogen, more the chances of breast cancer. And self breast examination every month is a must. Don't smoke, and a healthy lifestyle should be maintained using healthy diet and adequate physical activity. Breastfeeding, like nowadays जो हमारी कैरियर ओरिएंटेड मॉम्स हैं, वो ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग अवॉइड करते हैं या बहुत कम टाइम के लिए ही ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग करते हैं. ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग ना केवल बेबी के लिए बहुत ज्यादा एडवांटेजियस है बिकॉज इट इम्प्रूव्स द इम्यूनिटी ऑफ द चाइल्ड, बट इट ऑल्सो हेल्प्स द मदर बिकॉज ये ब्रेस्ट कैंसर के लिए के डेवलपमेंट के लिए बहुत प्रोटेक्टिव है. सो एटलीस्ट 6 months ऑफ एक्सक्लूसिव ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग इज ए मस्ट फॉर ऑल द मदर्स. HRT, that again hormone replacement therapy, post menopausal लेडी को आइडियली नहीं लेनी चाहिए. Avoid underwire bra or nighttime bra, and avoid talc and deodorants. This is the latest in the breast cancer prevention. BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes, they help prevent breast cancer from developing. But अगर इन BRCA genes में कोई mutation हो जाती है, then their function is disrupted and they cannot effectively repair the DNA damage. And so it makes the cells more prone to cancer. एक हॉलीवुड एक्ट्रेस है एंजेलिना जोली, शी गॉट हर डबल मैस्टेक्टमी डन. उसने अपने दोनों ही ब्रेस्ट्स रिमूव करवाए बिकॉज उसको पता चला कि उसकी ब्रेका जीन्स में म्यूटेशन है. सो इन जीन्स का अगर आपकी फैमिली हिस्ट्री है ब्रेस्ट कैंसर की, लाइक सिस्टर को या मदर को या नानी को अगर या मासी को किसी को भी है, then you should get this genes tested. So coming to the next cancer, that is the endometrial cancer. इसको बच्चेदानी का कैंसर भी कहते हैं. More specifically, बच्चेदानी की lining का कैंसर. So it is the fourth most common malignancy in women, and it is the most common gynecological malignancy in post-menopausal women. जो elderly ladies हैं, post-menopausal ladies, 60 years के around, उनमें सबसे commonest gynecological malignancy है ये. So this is a gross picture of a uterus जिसके अंदर endometrial carcinoma की development है. So 2 to 3% of the women, they develop endometrial carcinoma in lifetime. It's a disease of post-menopausal women. As I told you before, the mean age is 60 years होती है. And 15 to 25% of the post-menopausal women, they will have bleeding. और जो भी इनमें से जिनकी bleeding होती है, they have endometrial cancer. Now, what are the risk factors? Any agent or factor that rises the level or time of exposure to estrogen is a risk factor for the development of endometrial carcinoma. Like early menarche, अगर menses 12 years से पहले शुरू हो जाते हैं and menopause late हो रहा है, so again the time of exposure to estrogen has increased, so that's a risk factor. Nulliparity, अगर patient कभी भी pregnant नहीं हुई है, so again so unopposed estrogen का time of exposure ज़्यादा रहा है, so again it's a risk factor. Pregnancy, it's a protective for endometrial carcinoma. The other ones are hypertension and diabetes mellitus. How will the patient present to you? She is उसके symptoms होते हैं कि she presents with post-menopausal bleeding and or blood-stained vaginal discharge, or she might have purulent vaginal discharge. In less than 5% of the cases, she is asymptomatic. To diagnose, first the history of bleeding, then the transvaginal ultrasound. If the transvaginal ultrasound shows endometrial thickness more than 5 mm, or if it's a hyperechoic endometrium with irregular outline, then that's diagnosed, that speaks कि breast cancer की development हो रही है. The gold standard technique is hysteroscopy and endometrial biopsy. We have a very advanced office hysteroscopy in the Touch Clinic, and इसमें without anesthesia से भी बहुत ही आराम से hysteroscopy करनी possible है. And in the hysteroscopy procedure, we get a good visualization of the whole uterine cavity, and in the same sitting, endometrial biopsy can be taken of the suspicious area. Treatment, coming to the treatment, first is surgery. Again, based on the tumor grade and the depth of myometrial invasion, हमने ट्यूमर सर्जरी कौन सी करनी है वो डिसाइड करेंगे. सर्जरी यही होती है, the whole of the uterus and the tubes and the ovaries are removed, that is TAH plus BSO. Hormonal therapy, progesterone is given for recurrent disease and chemotherapy is given in advanced recurrent or metastatic disease. Radiotherapy is indicated in patients unfit for surgery or if there is a stage 3 or 4 disease. So there is no effective screening test. Occasionally cervical smears contain endometrial cancer cells, और अगर आपके अल्ट्रासाउंड में ट्रांसवेजाइनल अल्ट्रासाउंड में अगर endometrial thickness is more than 5 mm, that indicates the need for endometrial sampling. Prevention is again controlling obesity, blood pressure, and diabetes, and restricting the use of estrogen in menopausal ladies, and women having any abnormal vaginal bleeding or discharge, they should report this to the doctor, and screening of the high-risk women in postmenopausal period. Thank you. Now I invite Dr. Jaspreet for her talk.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Jaspreet, and I'd like to discuss about ovarian cancer with you all. So, what are ovaries? Ovaries are basically the part of a female reproductive system. Every normal human female has two ovaries, one on the right side and one on the left side. And as the picture on the screen shows, the right side is the normal ovary, and on the left side, there's a cyst in the ovary. What do the ovaries do basically? Ovaries release ova, that is eggs. That is why they're called ovaries. So this is the ovary. If you can see my cursor, this is the ovary. Every month इनमें से एक egg release होगा जो यहाँ पे female हैं उनको catch करेंगे, and then through this fallopian tube इधर से the egg will go to the uterus. And if there's a sperm, तो यहीं पे fertilization होगी और implantation हो जाएगी. Then to put things in perspective, this is the human female pelvis. Pelvis means the part which is between your abdomen and the legs. And pelvis is the place where you have your reproductive system and the urinary system. This is the vagina. This is the cervix. And then उसके ऊपर uterus है. On the sides we have ovaries, and ovaries से जो egg release होगा, वो fallopian tubes के through होकर uterus में जाएगा. वहाँ पे fertilize होगा. अगर sperm available है, fertilization के बाद वही implantation हो जाएगा. And coming to the topic, ovarian cancer. What is ovarian cancer? Ovarian जब भी ovaries में कोई abnormal cells develop होंगे जो वहीं पे ovaries को भी invade कर सकते हैं, regionally spread कर सकते हैं, जैसे आपके uterus में जा सकते हैं, या वही cells आपकी body में further भी spread हो सकते हैं, जैसे liver, lungs, abdomen में. This is called ovarian cancer. Incidence of ovarian cancer. इंडिया में globally अगर हम देखे जाए, India has the second highest incidence of ovarian cancer, and almost 5.9% of total cancers in India are due to the ovarian cancer. We have a very famous personality, Manisha Koirala. She had ovarian cancer. And what is the basically problem with ovarian cancer? Firstly, इसका diagnosis बहुत late होता है because इसके symptoms इतने specific नहीं हैं. आगे we'll discuss what are the symptoms of ovarian cancer. Secondly, इसके लिए कोई screening test available नहीं है. What are screening tests? Screening tests are certain tests जो हम एक apparently healthy और asymptomatic population में करेंगे, जो हमें normal लग रही है, जिनमें भी कोई symptoms नहीं आए, to see अगर उन्हें risk है किसी particular disease का. For example, pap smear, very commonly it is a screening test done for cervical cancer. Then we have mammography, जो कि breast cancer के लिए एक common screening test है. Sadly, we don't have any screening test for ovarian cancer at the moment. Hence, it is very important कि हम ये make sure करें कि हम aware हो हमारे risk factors क्या है, who is more prone to ovarian cancer, and when to go to the doctor. as I just said, ovarian cancer is a silent killer because इसके symptoms बहुत vague हैं, बहुत जल्दी diagnose नहीं होता. Most of the women are diagnosed in advanced stage, जब advanced disease हो जाता है, and then curing it becomes more difficult. There's no screening test for ovarian cancer, like I just said. So what are risk factors? Risk factors are something which make you more prone, which make जिससे आपको लगेगा कि ठीक है, आप में उस disease को develop होने का risk ज़्यादा है. For ovarian cancer, we have risk factors like estrogen therapy. अगर कोई lady estrogen therapy hormone treatment ले रहे हैं, she becomes more prone to ovarian cancer. If she has given childbirth after the age of 35 years, if she has had a history of endometriosis, which is another female reproductive organ disease, अगर उन्हें late menopause हो रहा है या उन्हें अगर early periods आए हैं, that is अगर उन्होंने अपनी life में ज़्यादा ovulate किया हो, she becomes more prone to ovarian cancer. If she's had a history of infertility या फिर she has certain gene mutations like the BRCA, it is a gene BRCA1 and BRCA2. अगर उनमें gene mutations present है या family history है, she becomes more prone to ovarian cancer. So what are the symptoms of ovarian cancer? Ovarian cancer के symptoms बहुत vague हैं. They are not really specific. They are more related to abdominal and urinary tract symptoms like there's persistent bloating. अगर पेट full रह रहा है या जल्दी कुछ खाते हैं तो जल्दी fill हो जाता है. Loss of appetite है. There's urinary urgency. अगर किसी को लगे कि she needs to go to the washroom quite often. बहुत जल्दी थकावट हो रही है, unexplained weight loss, or if there is pelvic or abdominal pain. Again, as I said that these symptoms are very vague. So if you have these symptoms, you have been having these symptoms for a week or more, and you have certain risk factors, you need to make an appointment to your doctor. So ovarian cancer prevention. Basically, ultrasound या फिर tumor markers, these are the two things which make the prevention or it makes differentiating कि okay, the person may have ovarian cancer more easy. This was just discussed. This is an ultrasound. Ultrasonography or ultrasound is the same thing. This image will show this is the uterus and this is the cyst in the right ovary, as you can see. Another ultrasound, another type of cyst. This is the fluid, this is the septa. Septa means a wall. And this is the increased posterior echoes indicating कि यहाँ पे cystic lesion है. Another ultrasound. Then I would just like to talk a bit about tumor markers. Tumor markers are certain markers present in your blood like CA125, CEA, HCG, जिनका आपकी body में present होना makes you more prone to having the disease. Like for ovarian cancer, we have CA125. जो हम की अगर regular blood test करते हैं, उनसे हम ये सब detect कर सकते हैं. Ovarian cancer metastasis sites. These are the sites जहाँ पे आपका cancer spread कर सकता है. From the ovary, it can go to the uterus, it can go to the fallopian tube. अगर it has to spread, it can go to the intestines, the liver, the diaphragm, the lungs, anywhere. So ovarian cancer treatment. We have 4 modalities in the ovarian cancer treatment, which are surgery, then there is radiation therapy, then there is chemotherapy, and then there is precision cancer medicine. Surgery is usually when the cancer is at a certain place, जब कहीं spread ना किया हो या low grade हो. What do you expect during the chemotherapy infusion? So there is an IV setup जो एक port या needle के through लगाया जाएगा. IV drips are given in the bloodstream at a controlled rate, and then the drugs are injected through an IV bag, or they may also be given manually through a syringe or infusion pump. This is the radiotherapy being given. This is the surgery being done. So just to summarize all of this, I would like to state that for a woman, it is very important to know if she is more at risk, अगर उनमें कोई family history है, या फिर उनमें कुछ certain risk factors present हैं, जो उन्हें more prone बनाते हैं to ovarian cancer, because ovarian cancer is not detected quite early, and when it is detected, it gets quite late or advanced stage में हो जाता है, so the treatment becomes more tough. So it is very important, if you have signs or symptoms, you do need to make an appointment with your doctor and visit. Thank you. This is an image which shows screening is always better than cure. And now I would like to invite Dr. Isha for her part of the presentation. Thank you. Hello everyone. Hi Ishika. How are you?
Hi, very good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. So thank you for the presentation. And now I will proceed with my presentation, and my topic is cancer cervix prevention and treatment. So as ma'am already discussed, cervical cancer is the most common cancer in India. And apart from that, there are various cancer, which I'll be showing in my next slides. So this is very important. Normal cervix कैसा होता है? Basically पहले ये पता होना चाहिए what is cervix. बहुत बार लोग cervical vertebra जो हमारे यहाँ पे spine पे होता है उससे confuse करते हैं. So this part is different. As you can see, this part is called uterus, and the mouth of the uterus is called cervix. So this is cervix, and the canal which is shown below, it is called vagina. Cancers normally जो cervix है वो ऐसे दिखता है. सर्वाइकल कैंसर में क्या होगा, कोई भी ग्रोथ दिख सकती है सर्विक्स में. सो व्हाट इज सर्वाइकल कैंसर? कैंसर दैट अफेक्ट द माउथ ऑफ द यूट्रस, और वो प्रेजेंट कैसे करेगा? एज अ ग्रोथ और मास. सो दीज आर द स्टेजेस ऑफ द सर्वाइकल कैंसर व्हिच आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन माय नेक्स्ट स्लाइड्स. सो व्हाई इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू नो कि व्हाट इज सर्वाइकल कैंसर. So cervical cancer is the most commonest cancer in Indian women. More than 200 women die every day in India. 8 women die every hour, and 1 woman every 7 minutes. This is the statistic which is currently present in India. So incidence in India, cervical cancer contributes to around 6 to 29% of the total cancer which are shown in the women. And approximately 1 in 53 Indian women, they suffer from cervical cancer in their lifetime. So what are the risk factors? It can be due to low socioeconomic status, मतलब due to poor hygiene, due to any nutrient deficiency in your body. कोई genetic factor भी हो सकता है, like कोई gene जो कि responsible हो कोई भी mutation के लिए. Viral factor, this is very important. HPV, it is called human papilloma virus. It is the causative agent for the cervical cancer. Tobacco uses, इससे क्या होगा, आपकी immunity कम हो जाएगी, तो उससे कैंसर होने का रिस्क ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है. High use of oral contraceptives, जो oral contraceptive आजकल आपको दिए जाते हैं, उसका अगर long term in the sense 5-10 years अगर long term use होता है, तो then they can cause mutation in your genes. Poor personal hygiene and multiple sexual partners. So what are the symptoms? It can be leg swelling, backache, painful intercourse, abnormal discharge, abnormal vaginal discharge हो सकता है. अगर आप मेनोपॉजल हो और अगर आपको मेनोपॉज 1 साल आपको ब्लीडिंग नहीं हुई है कभी भी, उसके बाद कभी भी आपको एक एपिसोड हो जाता है ब्लीडिंग का, तो यू आर एट हाई रिस्क ऑफ दिस. Menstrual irregularities, abdominal pain, weight loss, vaginal bleeding, dizziness, fatigue, and bloody stools. So coming to how we can prevent this cancer cervix, the first, which is very important, is called pap smear. आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा, स्क्रीनिंग में हम pap smear हमेशा आपकी फर्स्ट विजिट पे आपको एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, इन सब्सिक्वेंट विजिट पे वी विल टेल यू कि यू शुड गो फॉर द pap smear. Then second is the HPV vaccination. So coming to vaccination, it is called Gardasil vaccination. So this is the best pre-wedding gift you can give to your daughter. And basically what it do, it basically prevent you from the HPV infection. So basically ये 6, 11, 16, 18 strains होते हैं HPV वायरस के, जो कि ये Gardasil vaccination प्रोटेक्ट करती है हमसे. So ये HPV ट्रांसमिट कैसे होता है? ये बॉडी टू बॉडी ट्रांसमिट हो सकता है. जब भी कोई सेक्सुअली एक्टिव होता है तो वो वन पार्टनर से दूसरे पार्टनर को चला जाता है, और बेसिकली हमारा एचपीवी वायरस नॉर्मली भी प्रेजेंट होता है, बट अगर वो उसका वायरस लोड ज्यादा हो जाए तो वो ये सब कैंसर कॉज कर सकता है, लाइक एनल कैंसर, सर्वाइकल, ओरोफेरिंजियल, पेनाइल, वेजाइनल एंड वल्वल कैंसर. सो टू प्रिवेंट दिस इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू गेट दिस वैक्सीनेशन डन. और ये वैक्सीनेशन क्या करती है, 99.9% जो है कैंसर सर्विक्स प्रिवेंट करती है. So coming to what is the schedule for this vaccination? अगर तो आपकी कोई भी डॉटर है या आप खुद अगर आप 14 इयर्स तक हो तो आपको 2 डोजेस मिलेंगी, एक तो आपको 0 मंथ में, एक 6 मंथ्स में. इन केस अगर आप 15 से यंगर ओल्डर हो, 15 to 26 टिल द एज यू गॉट मैरिड, आप 3 डोजेस ले सकते हो, 0, 1, 6 मंथ्स. एक जैसे आज आपको लगी है, एक 1 मंथ बाद लगेगी, और एक आज से डेट से 6 मंथ्स बाद लगेगी. तो ये आपका शेड्यूल है फॉर द वैक्सीनेशन. और ये लगता कैसे है, आईएम लगता है, बटक्स पे लगेगा. सो हाउ टू डायग्नोज कैंसर सर्विक्स. सो डायग्नोज करने के लिए भी जो इम्पोर्टेंट है वो है पैप स्मेयर, एचपीवी टेस्टिंग एंड कोल्पोस्कोपी. दीज आर द 3 इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग्स. फर्स्ट व्हाट वी शुड नो इज व्हाट इज पैप स्मेयर. पैप स्मेयर क्या है? इट इज अ रूटीन स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसीजर वेयर सेल्स फ्रॉम द सर्विक्स, जो माउथ ऑफ द यूट्रस है, they are scraped away and they are checked for any signs of infection and cancer. So as you can see, this is the uterus part. ये ऐसे हमें cervix दिखता है जब हम उसे एग्जामिन करते हैं. तो ऐसे एक speculum insert करेंगे and with the help of this brush type thing, we will just scrape the cells from this area and we will send it to lab. तो इससे हमें पता चल जाता है कि कोई infection तो नहीं है, and it will tell, हमें पहले ही ये इंडिकेट कर देते हैं कि कोई म्यूटेशन अगर सेल्स में हो रही है तो वो हम डिटेक्ट करके देन वी विल मैनेज दैट थिंग. सो व्हाट इज एबनॉर्मल पैप स्मेयर? अब एबनॉर्मल कब कंडीशंस पे पैप स्मेयर हो सकता है? अगर तो सैंपल इनएडिक्वेट आया है तो उन केस में हम रिपीट कर सकते हैं. अगर उस टाइम पे कोई प्रेजेंट है, कोई इन्फ्लेमेशन या इन्फेक्शन है, कोई भी आपको वेजाइनल फंगल इन्फेक्शन है या कोई भी आपका वो एरिया जो है इन्फ्लेम्ड है, तो उसकी वजह से भी आपका पैप्स में एब्नॉर्मल आ सकता है. और इन केस ऑफ अगर डिस्प्लास्टिक चेंजेस आ रहे हैं, कोई भी आपके कैंसर सेल्स बन रहे हैं, तो उस टाइम पे भी वो एब्नॉर्मल आ सकता है. सो व्हाट इज द प्रोटोकॉल फॉर पैप स्मेयर इन आवर कंट्री? बेसिकली अगर आप 21 इयर्स से छोटे हो तो आपको पैप स्मेयर की जरूरत नहीं है. अगर आप 21 से 29 ईयर हो तो यू शुड गो फॉर पैप स्मेयर एवरी 3 इयर्स. मतलब कि अगर एक बार आप सेक्सुअल एक्टिव हो गए हो, देन यू शुड रूटीनली गो फॉर पैप स्मेयर एवरी 3 इयर्स. अगर 30 to 65 इयर्स के हैं तो पैप स्मेयर आप करवा सकते हो विदाउट, अगर आप एचपीवी टेस्टिंग नहीं करवाना चाहते तो एवरी 3 ईयर यू शुड गो फॉर पैप स्मेयर. अगर आप पैप स्मेयर प्लस एचपीवी टेस्टिंग करा रहे हो तो आप एवरी 5 इयर्स के बाद वो रिपीट करा सकते हो. अगर मोर देन 6 इयर्स है तो आप बस एक बार पैप स्मेयर कराने की जरूरत है, और अगर वो सैंपल नेगेटिव आता है देन इन सब्सिक्वेंट इयर्स यू डोंट नीड टू गो फॉर पैप स्मेयर. एक्सेप्शंस लाइक नॉर्मल टेस्ट, एचपीवी वैक्सीन, पोस्ट हिस्टेक्टमी, इन केसेस में आपको पैप स्मेयर कराने की जरूरत है. सो अ स्मेयर नॉर्मली प्रोसीजर ओपीडी प्रोसीजर है, ये बिल्कुल भी पेनफुल नहीं होता है एंड जस्ट टुक योर 5 मिनट्स. बट अगर आपको कभी भी अगर आप इसको नेग्लेक्ट करते हो और अगर सर्वाइकल कैंसर गॉड फॉरबिड हो जाता है तो इट विल कॉस्ट यू योर लाइफ. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू गो फॉर पैप स्मेयर, जस्ट अ सिंपल स्क्रीनिंग टेस्ट. So 7 out of 10 the women don't get this smear. So basically वो follow up नहीं करते, abnormal test आते हैं. So उनमें से 9 out of 10 cases they can be positive for cervical cancer. So it's very important to go for this simple screening test. So दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. कभी कभार कोई पूछता है कि अगर हम प्रेग्नेंट है कैन वी गो फॉर पैप्स में? नो. बट अगर आप एक बार कंसीव कर लिया और आप डिलीवर कर जाओगे तो देन आफ्टर टू कंप्लीट योर प्रेगनेंसी देन यू कैन गो फॉर पैप्स में. तो आप एक बार करवा लोगे तो 3 साल बाद आपको रिपीट करवाने की जरूरत है. देन एचपीवी टेस्टिंग. व्हाट इज एचपीवी टेस्टिंग? एक तो आपने पैप्स में तो समझ लिया, उसके साथ एचपीवी टेस्टिंग भी होती है. तो व्हाट इज, इससे क्या होगा, दोनों अगर आप पैप्स में एचपीवी टेस्टिंग कराओगे तो आपके जो रिजल्ट्स हैं वो आपको शॉर्ट मिल जाएंगे. अगर दोनों नेगेटिव आ रहे इसका मतलब यू आर free from cancer service. So it's just a screening test, but doesn't tell you whether you have cancer. So HPV testing अकेले कराने का कोई मतलब नहीं है, आपको पैप्स में इसके साथ जरूर करवाना पड़ेगा. So basically ये क्या करवाता है कि HPV जो इसका RNA है वो डिटेक्ट करता है और सर्वाइकल कैंसर सर्विक्स में, और वो डिटेक्ट कर देता है कि ये पॉजिटिव है कि नहीं. Then coming to colposcopy, this is the advanced test. In case अगर आपका HPV और पैप्स में पॉजिटिव आता है then you need to go for colposcopy. Colposcopy क्या है? This thing, this is an instrument like thing. This is just a camera. इसमें हम क्या करते हैं, यहाँ से हम विजुलाइज कर लेते हैं आपके सर्विक्स को. अगर हमें कोई ग्रोथ या कोई ब्लीडिंग दिख रही है या कोई इरोजन दिख रहा है आपके सर्विक्स पे यहाँ पर, तो हम जस्ट इस कैमरे से उसको फोकस करके यहाँ से हम पिक्चर्स ले लेते हैं, और पिक्चर्स लेकर हम अगर जरूरत पड़ती है तो हम बायोप्सी भी ले लेते हैं, सर्वाइकल बायोप्सी भी ले लेते हैं. So basically it is to examine your cervix, vagina and vulva. And this is the biopsy. So अगर हमें कोई growth दिख रही है then we will take this biopsy. There are many types of biopsy. In this we are showing the punch biopsy. The small tissue we take from cervix and then we send it to lab, and there we just check cancerous problem तो नहीं है, cancerous cells तो नहीं है इसमें. Then limit, then how to prevent this cancer cervix? What you have to do is limit your number of sexual partner, use protection during intercourse, try to don't smoke, and try to use decrease the use of tobacco, delay first sexual intercourse till the later stage, avoid sexual intercourse agar in case aapka partner infected with any genital warts, and get a HPV vaccine. HPV वैक्सीन का एक और बेनिफिट है, इट आल्सो प्रिवेंट फ्रॉम द एनोजेनिटल वॉर्ड्स. सो एक तो कैंसर सर्विस से प्रिवेंट करेगा ही करेगा, साथ में जो वॉर्ड्स वगैरह होते हैं जेनिटल वॉर्ड्स उससे भी प्रिवेंट करेगा. देन सर्वाइकल कैंसर बेसिकली बहुत स्टेजेस होते हैं, तो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन आप अर्ली स्टेज पे हो लेट स्टेज पे हो तो उसके हिसाब से मैनेजमेंट इट आल्सो वेरीज. व्हाट इज द ट्रीटमेंट लेआउट? सो इन केस अगर किसी को कैंसर सर्विक्स हो सकता है, सो व्हाट कैन बी डन? Either the surgery can be done in early stages. Our late stages are we can go for the radiotherapy and chemotherapy. So management depending upon the early and advanced stages. अगर early है तो surgery, अगर advanced है तो फिर हम combined therapy दे सकते हैं, या तो radiotherapy plus chemotherapy. Then surgeries कौन सी होती है? Type of hysterectomy. Either the total hysterectomy can be done depending upon कितना जो है cancer spread हुआ है. तो इन टोटल हिस्टेक्टमी क्या होता है, यूट्रस और सर्विक्स रिमूव कर दिया गया है. और रेडिकल हिस्टेक्टमी में क्या किया गया है, यूट्रस सर्विक्स जो जहां वो आपको लगे, जहां हमें लगेगा कि स्प्रेड हो गया है, तो कनेक्टिंग जो लिम्फ नोड होते हैं वो भी रिमूव किए जाते हैं. रेडियोथेरेपी में क्या होता है, वी यूज द हाई एनर्जी एक्सरेज टू किल द कैंसर सेल्स. सो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द स्टेजेस वी कैन यूज द रेडिएशन थेरेपी. कीमोथेरेपी, इसमें क्या होता है, in this we use the anti-cancer drug that can be injected into your vein or we can just give you orally, and it will kill the जहाँ पर भी cancer growth है वहाँ पर वो cancer cell को kill करके then it will treat. Then this is the other type of cancer कौन से available है. Apart from cervical cancer क्या cancer presence हो सकते हैं? Breast cancer, endometrial cancer, ovarian cancer जो कि already discuss कर दिया मैम ने, lung cancer, colorectal cancer, endometrial cancer, thyroid cancer, ovarian cancer, kidney cancer, leukemia. These all are the cancer which can be present in the woman. Then take home messages. What you have to do is ultrasound every 1 year करवाना चाहिए. Basically इसमें क्या होगा, आपके ovarian status हमेशा हर साल एग्जामिन होगा. तो in case अगर कोई cyst आती भी है, functional cyst आती है, तो we can just measure the size and we will let you know कि कोई cancerous thing नहीं है. Second is ultrasound breast or mammography. It should be done every 2 years. अगर वो normal आता है, तो you should go for this every 2 years. Then the third thing is pap smear. It should be every 3 years. So basically the rule is 1, 2, 3. You have to remember it like this. So the thing is, earlier the better. Earlier you take options, better it is for your life. So never take any negligence for your life. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, you can just put it in the chat box. And I can see there is no questions in the chat box. So I think आपको सारे answers मिल गए होंगे हमारे webinar से. So thank you very much. And now I will invite Miss Anchal, and she will let you know about some things about our specialty, about our clinic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Isha ma'am. So ending up the session by telling you our last webinar winner for the lucky draw, Miss Ria. So I think Miss Ria is online. तो आप unmute हो सकते हो मैम अगर कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं तो. विशाल जी आप रिया मैम को अनम्यूट कर दीजिए. Hello. Yes, Ria ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, congratulations ma'am. Last winner जो हमारा webinar था उसके lucky draw winner हैं आप.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
I would like to say something about the Touch Clinic. First of all, I'm very thankful, Miss Preeti Jindal ma'am. She's very gentle, she's very soft spoken, and she's very caring about her patients. So I'm really satisfied to with her dealings, with her caring nature of for her patients. So मुझे ये कहना है कि मैंने वहाँ पर आकर के मेरा भी ट्रीटमेंट भी चल रहा है. सो टच क्लिनिक में आकर के और मैंने ऑनलाइन आपके हॉस्पिटल की ऑनलाइन मैंने चेक किया था. एंड देन I'll contact with Miss Preeti Jindal ma'am और उसके बाद मैंने वहाँ आकर के अपना ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट किया है. तो
Okay.
I'm very satisfied and thanks for lucky draw winner.
Thank you so much ma'am. So now ending up the session by telling you some services of the Touch Clinic. We take all precautions for COVID-19, consultation with prior appointments only. COVID test is done prior to delivery or surgery. We take care of all the safety parameters. We have our home delivery of medicine services available. Touch Pharmacy. You can call on the number 9613112000 to book your appointment for the home delivery of medicines. And we have our Touch Lab. So blood sample collection facilities is also available. You can call on number 9915496821 और 9915748821. आप इस पे कॉल करके अपनी जो भी होम कलेक्शन सर्विसेज के लिए आप अगर एग्जीक्यूटिव को अपने घर बुलाना चाहते हैं तो आप इन नंबर्स पे कॉल कर सकते हैं. एंड रेस्ट द लास्ट वन इज लाइक इफ यू वांट टू टॉक टू डॉक्टर प्रीति जिंदल, आप वीडियो कंसल्टेशन कर सकते हैं, फोन कंसल्टेशन कर सकते हैं, या आके पर्सनली विजिट कर सकते हैं हमारे टच क्लिनिक पे. हमारा जो क्लिनिक है वो मोहाली में बेस्ड है. एड्रेस इस पे मेंशन्ड है A5A8 बेस्टिक बिजनेस टावर्स सेक्टर 66. वीडियो कंसल्टेशन एंड फोन कंसल्टेशन के लिए आप अपनी जो है स्लॉट बुक करवा सकते हैं by calling on the both numbers. The numbers are 9915748821 and 9888448803. और अगर किसी ने मिस कर दिया है, एंड में आया है कोई जिसने पूरा वेबिनार नहीं सुना है हमारे हमारा, तो उसके लिए आप हमारे फेसबुक पे या हमारे जो गूगल अकाउंट है आप उस पे लॉगिन कर सकते हैं और चेक कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पे आप जो है सुन सकते हैं। इन केस अगर वहाँ पे भी अगर आपको कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है तो आप इन नंबर्स पे कॉल करके हमें बता सकते हैं, हम आपको जो है वीडियो सेंड कर देंगे, राइट। सो नाउ वी आर एंडिंग द सेशन बाय टेलिंग द नेक्स्ट वेबिनार। हमारा वेबिनार एवरी फ्राइडे होता है, टाइमिंग्स आर सेम 4 to 5। नेक्स्ट वेबिनार हमारा 31 जुलाई को है, बर्थ कंट्रोल मेथड्स एंड ऑप्शंस पर, जिसके मॉडरेटर होंगे मिस रूपी। सो आई रिक्वेस्ट एवरीवन कि आप नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे भी हमें ज्वाइन करिएगा, ठीक है। थैंक यू सो मच।